Buying a pre-sale condo in Vancouver right now is one of the riskiest moves buyers are making. Right now, there are thousands of brand new condos sitting empty across the province that don't show up anywhere you're looking. That hidden supply, it's quietly destroying pricing, leverage, and appraisals. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to avoid the Vancouver pre-sale trap and not overpay by 6 figures. Let's go. Most buyers think the housing market is defined by listings, sales, and months of inventory. But that data, it only tells you half the story. It completely ignores developer-owned inventory. And that's where the real risk lives right now. Developers don't have to list their unsold units on MLS. They don't have to report them to real estate boards. They don't have to show you anything. So what you're seeing online, it looks like a tight market, but behind the scenes, there's a massive pile of finished condos sitting completely empty. These units are completed, they're built, they physically exist, but they're invisible to most buyers. This is what's called shadow inventory. Homes that exist, but don't show up in the numbers that people use to judge the market volatility. And right now in Vancouver, that shadow inventory has exploded. We're talking thousands of completed condos with no buyers and no renters. And that number has almost doubled in about a year. This isn't a normal slowdown. This is the worst oversupply that we've seen in years. And no, this isn't happening everywhere. It's concentrated into very specific pockets, areas that were on fire during the pandemic run-up. Places where pre-sale launches were non-stop. Burquitlam, Brentwood, Willoughby, Surrey Central. These were the hottest neighborhoods in the country for pre-sales during that time. Developers were launching project after project after project. Sales centers were packed with people lined up the night before launch. Prices were climbing every single phase, and buyers thought they were getting in early. But here's what actually happened. From 2020 to 2022, interest rates were dirt cheap. Money was basically free. Developers, they borrowed aggressively. Investors, they bought aggressively. And fear drove everything. We saw it everywhere. Everyone believed prices would rise forever. If you didn't buy now, you'd never catch up. So developers price units based on projected future values, not today's reality, not livability, and definitely not affordability. They built tiny investor grade units, 500 square feet, basically dog crates, minimal storage, minimal if parking at all, and they sold them at luxury prices. Here's the problem. Those future values, they never showed up. Resale condos never reached those price levels. End users couldn't justify the numbers. And once rates went up, investors disappeared overnight. Carrying costs doubled, mortgage payments exploded, rent didn't keep up. Suddenly, the math didn't work. So demand didn't slow, it collapsed. And now developers, they're stuck holding inventory they can't move. This is where buyers start making mistakes, because when developers get desperate, they don't always cut prices first. They add their incentives, the free parking, the free storage, rate buy downs for the first 3 years, cash back on completion. On the surface, it feels like a deal, but incentives don't fix an inflated purchase price. A free parking stall doesn't help you if you overpaid by 100 grand. A rate buy down, it doesn't save you if the appraisal comes in 100 grand short. And this is where people get burned, because appraisals, they don't care about incentives. They care about comparable sales. So if you buy a pre-sale unit priced like 2021, but today's resale market says it's worth much less, you're the one filling the gap with the cash. This is why pre-sale buyers are getting stuck right now. Units bought for 500-600 grand and are appraising at 100 grand less. That difference, it doesn't disappear. It comes out of your pocket. Now let me pause here and speak directly to you for a second. If you're in your 30s, early 40s, you have a mortgage, or you're trying to qualify for one, you probably earn good money, but you still feel stretched, this is gonna matter more than you think. You don't have an unlimited margin for error. One bad purchase can lock you into low cash flow for years, and low cash flow, it's gonna kill your options. This isn't just a real estate problem, it's a leverage problem. Developers, they know this. Banks, they know this, but buyers often don't see it until it's too late. Here's the biggest risk under the surface. Construction, it's slowing down right now. Developers, they're laying off massive amounts of staff. Projects, they're being shelved. And when construction slows, it ripples outwards. Trades lose work, suppliers lose contracts, cities lose tax revenue and a lot of revenue. The feedback loop makes lenders tighter, financing gets stricter, and future supply, it dries up. So we're stuck in a standoff. Developers can't slash prices too far without breaking financing covenants. Buyers, they refuse to pay pandemic pricing, and no one wants to blink first. But here's the key insight. Buyers don't need developers to blink across the board. They only need leverage in the right places. And that leverage exists right now in the market, just not where most people are looking. Completed inventory is where the opportunity is, not those new launches, not glossy marketing centers. Developers hate carrying finished units. Every month, those condos sit empty, cost them real money. Interest, taxes, maintenance, that pressure gives you negotiating power. This is where strategy, it always beats hype. With completed inventory, you can negotiate price reductions. You can ask for closing credits. You can push for deposit flexibility. You can lock in better terms. Things that were impossible just a few years ago. New pre-sales don't offer that same leverage. They're still anchored to future pricing assumptions, and that's the trap. Now zoom out for a second. The next 12 to 24 months, they're going to shape the next decade in real estate. We'll see fewer pre-sale launches, more purpose-built rentals. We'll see developers consolidate into less firms. And yes, we're gonna see some bankruptcies. Investor-grade condos will struggle. Livable resale units will hold value way better. Layouts will matter again. Square footage will matter again. Livability will matter again. This is a reset, and resets are dangerous if you don't understand them, but incredibly powerful if you're on the right side. Right now, buyers actually have leverage, but only if they avoid the obvious traps. The biggest mistake you can make is assuming pre-sale equals safety. It doesn't. Safety comes from buying right, not buying early. If you understand where the hidden supply is, how appraisals work, and where developers are under pressure, you can avoid overpaying by 6 figures in one quick decision. And at that one decision, it can change your cash flow for years. That's why strategy matters more than hype. And planning matters more than timing so much. If this breakdown helped you, hit the like button so more people see it. Subscribe if you want clear strategic explanations without the noise. And once you're done with this one, check out last week's episode, Vancouver Condo Nightmare, to learn what is happening in the resale market right now.